Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to take a look at how we can find out the paths of an executable program. So let's say we want to retrieve the path of Excel, Word, Firefox, any of these programs that we install on our computers, so then we can perhaps later use that in a shell command or some other command, PowerShell, whatever the case may be. So I thought I'd just take a brief look at it. It's a very simple thing to do once you know how, and that's what we're going to briefly discuss today. So the first thing that we need to be aware of is the simple fact that the paths to such EXEs, Excel, Word, Thunderbird, it doesn't make a difference. They're actually stored in the registry, in the Windows registry. Therefore, we don't need to mess around with the file system object and try to iterate through folders trying to find it ourselves. We just need to read the registry where it's saved. Now the question is, where in the registry is this type of information saved? And actually it's very easy once you know. And I created an article about this quite some time ago. And the ultimate goal here is I'm trying to retrieve something along these lines. I'm trying to get the path with the EXE. And then I can use this for automation. So in the case of Access, I use this personally in a VBScript that I use with all of my clients. And this is how I retrieve the path with the EXE of Access to then launch the database. So I'm always guaranteed to have the correct path. Depending if it's MSI installation, a click to run, depending if the IT department installed it in a non-typical location. Using a couple lines of code, I guarantee that my code, my VBScript, always works properly. And as I mentioned, this is for any EXE that's been installed properly, and therefore it goes beyond just MS Office. I use this for automating things like Thunderbird, Firefox, Google Chrome, whatever the case may be. You can use this to locate the full path with EXE, and then you can use that information however you see fit in your code. So how is it done exactly? As I mentioned, it's very simple. We just need to read the key, the proper key. As you can see here, a very simple, simplistic version of it, but this is all it takes, 3-4 lines. And as you see here, all the information is stored in that area of the registry. So if we copy that and we launch the registry editor, so let's take a look at it for 1 second. If you come into the address bar and just copy paste that, you're brought to the right area and you'll see all the different programs that it has information on. So MS Access is here. And if you click on it, the default key returns the full path and the EXE as well. And you can do that for any of the programs that are listed. Publisher, Outlook, Excel is above. You want to get PowerShell, you want to get Skype, you want to get the SnippingTool, Word, Write. They're all here, they're all accessible. I said Word on WordPad. Word is actually winword.exe. So all the information is here. It's just a question of reading it. And to do that, as you can see, it's very simple. We simply create an object, a WScript shell object, and then we use that object here to read the registry key of our choosing. Below, I give you several examples of the common ones, but you can also look in your registry and see if there's something there that you're looking for in particular. Let's try this out. As you can see by the code, very simple, and there is nothing like Access specific. This is simple VBA, so it'll work in any of the Office VBA programs and beyond. So you can use this in Access, Excel, Word, Outlook. It doesn't make a difference. This is what I have posted here, a simplistic version that will actually work in a VBScript. It also works in a VBA as well. So you can use this now in a VBScript as I do. A little below, I show you the syntax if you needed to use it inside a BAT file. So if you prefer to use a BAT file. So it's very versatile and easy to use no matter what the context that you have. So let's take a look. Let's just start a new Access database. Let's open this guy up. Let's go into the Visual Basic Application Editor, VBE. Let's start a module, and let's start a sub. Sub get exe path, and we just copy paste our code. Easy as can be. So, and the only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make this a debug.print because I want it to come down here in my immediate window instead of popping up message box after message box. For debugging, it makes it easier. I am in VBA, not VBS, not a VBScript. I always like to set things to nothing, and I should properly declare my variable as an object. Okay. Now that I've done that, everything is glorious, and this should work. So we see here, we're looking for MS Access EXE. If we run it, we now get down below in the immediate window the path. We can change this for whatever we want. And the syntax case here makes no difference. Uppercase, lowercase, mixed case, it will work equally. And if we run that, you'll see you get the information. You want to do Thunderbird, and you're going to get its path. And as you see, it's a different folder. We're not messing around with folders. We're just reading the registry. So that's how easy, how hard it is to get the information as to the path of an executable file. Well, this is nice as a sub, but realistically, we're going to want this as a function. So let's just comment that out for a second. Let's make this into a function that returns it as a string. And what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to do exe name as a string. And we're going to want to come here and do something, let's say, like that. Now, obviously, there's all sorts of variations of how we could do this, but this would be one way of doing it. So how do we then use it? We would simply come here, and we come here, and we'll put in the name of the executable, MS Access. We don't have to worry about the exe every time. I've just left it in my code. That way it's a few less character strokes to have to do. And we get it. Thunderbird, we get it, etc., etc. So as you can see, it works perfectly well, no issues. So let's just exit Access for a second. Let's try, just to prove that it works, Excel. So we open up Excel. We go into the Visual Basic Application Editor. We create a module. We copy paste our function. And we just come here and test it out. MS Access. And there you go. It worked. No problem. Thunderbird. No problem. Okay, so that's beautiful. And lastly, but not least, also for illustrative purposes, what about the VBScript, like I said? Well, let's pretend this is some type of VBScript, so we change it to a VBS file. Yes, I'm sure. Now I'm going to come here and open it in Notepad. And I'm going to copy paste the code, but in VBScript we don't have object types. And to simplify our usage, I'm just going to message box it. So we'll switch this. Now we want to get Excel, let's say. We save it and we test it out. And now, as you can see, it is retrieving the full path and executable file of excel.exe. So as you can see, very versatile. It works in any application. It works as a VBScript. And now you're easily able to retrieve the full path of any exe you need to then continue on with your automation. And lastly but not least, this is bitness indifferent. So this works in a 32-bit application just as much as a 64-bit application. The last comment I'll just have, if you're using this in VBA in any serious way, if this is something you're using frequently and not just a one-off, where you could save this to a temp var or a global variable or something like that. But if you're going to be calling a function like this often, where you're doing this create object, well, then always think of my self-healing object variables, another great application for them. As always, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to watch this. If you found it helpful, please like, share, subscribe, add some comments below. It helps me be able to make more of these videos. And I wish you all a great day, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.